quarterback competition from the start, and unlike the Potemkin competition in Jacksonville, there's no reason for them to make a decision until the last minute and to be definitive about it, even if Mac Jones took advantage of Cam Newton's absence, which it sounds like he did. Mac Jones has been excellent in the preseason. He's done everything you could have wanted. He's thrown with touch, anticipation, he's gone through his progressions, and he's mitigated the concerns I had about him before the draft, which was how he was handled by pressure by getting rid of the ball so quickly. But Cam Newton has also played really well. Last week I thought he was excellent. So to me, this should go down to the wire. Then Bill Belichick can make a decision based on who plays best at the end.
Woody Page will bring you in here. This is lighting up the screen today, Woody, with that shirt. I appreciate it. Where are we in the Patriots quarterback competition?
Well, Curran also said in that article that I thought was interesting that this week Newton had thrown no passes and Jones had thrown 500 in practice. Okay. So you would understand that maybe he has an edge right now in terms of what he's doing at quarterback. He wasn't as good today against the Giants, and then said earlier today that he thought the Giants kind of reworked their defense for him, which is surprising. But I agree. I think that he's won the job. I think he's been good enough, and whether Cam was a victim of a misunderstanding or didn't get the vaccination, we don't really know at this point. I wouldn't take it to the end. I'd go ahead. It's not as if Bill Belichick hasn't replaced a veteran with a youngster before. We saw it with a guy who's now in Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. So I would make the move to the kid if I were the Patriots.
Tim Kalishaw, how about you?
Not, though.
Well, let me apologize first for this shirt. I didn't know it was tribute to Iron Butterfly Day on Around the Horn. But let me say this about Mac Jones. I don't know that he's won the job, but I think he had the upper hand on the job as soon as Bill Belichick watched him in college at Alabama and saw those stats: 41 TD passes, 4 interceptions. New England has always been about not making big plays, but avoiding turnovers, not fumbling. And Cam had 6 of those last year. So I don't really look at Cam as the reigning starter. He started last year on a bad team that Bill Belichick is trying to forget. I think it's been an open competition, but I think Mac Jones has just about won it.
And L. Duncan will bring you in here. News of the day at practice today against the Giants. Mac Jones is 11 of 23 in an interception. Cam Newton's first time back, 6 of 10. You read anything into it?
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe we are literally going play by play on 7-on-7 drills. Oh my goodness, you guys. For a 7-win team. Anyway, listen, I'll say this. I think it's been a bad couple of days for the unvaccinated collective in the NFL on the same day that you've got Cole Beasley and Isaiah McKenzie, the Bills receivers, getting fined significantly for not wearing their masks. They are vocally unvaccinated. It appears Cam Newton is as well. You're now talking about him potentially losing out on a starting job because someone took advantage of an opportunity because of a misunderstanding. Yes, he has 100% the right to not get the vaccination, but he is not free from consequences, and it appears as though Mac Jones got the edge doing that. You can't tell me that a guy like Bill Belichick, who reportedly reads The Art of War every single year before the season starts, is going to be impressed by someone who won't get the vaccination in order to compete in what's been a pretty competitive job. What I'm interested is Cam Newton's response, because it's been pretty nice for him lately, and over the last couple of years in Boston, really, in terms of how much they like him. Now they are fully infatuated with this kid, and I'm interested to see how emotionally mature he is during this process.
Headline 2, Dak Prescott throwing for the first time in 4 weeks. Look at him go throw here. Here he is. He's throwing. That's a throw. Tim Kalishaw, I turn to you. Bengals are playing Joe Burrow in preseason game 3, so he can have some game action before the regular season after his injury. Can you see value in the Cowboys playing Prescott Sunday before he has to play the Buccaneers week 1 of the season?
We turn from a 7-win team to a 6-win team here. Yes, I do see the value. I think there's always value in starters playing a little. If you looked at Tom Brady's years in New England, many years, he threw passes. He frequently threw a lot more passes than most starting quarterbacks. But the Cowboys don't look at it that way. Nobody thinks Dak Prescott is going to play. And the problem with that is he hasn't played since last October. It's not really just, connecting with CeeDee Lamb. It's how does he react? How does it even feel to have live rushers coming at him? He's not going to know until Thursday night when the Super Bowl champions are trying to get all over him and that's going to be his first test in 11 months of how the ankle feels.
Mina, would you see value in playing Dak Prescott? Of all the great runs you've seen in the Little League World Series, how do you describe what Gavin Weir has done?
It's incredible. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is tweeting at him, right? We haven't seen a Little League World Series kid this popular since Big Al said he liked to hit dingers. It's super impressive, and what I like most about this kid is despite his dominance, despite being compared to Chris Sale, he actually said he was disappointed in himself because forget the no-hitters, he wanted to hit or throw perfect games, and I love that about him. I hope that maybe some way there's a delay so this kid can pitch.
Oh, you mean a rain delay on Sunday because he could pitch on Monday because the limit reset?
If there's a rain delay, then it would postpone it a day, and potentially he could pitch
that start at 3 o'clock and push the games later past 5 o'clock Eastern? I have no idea. Have there? Tim Kalishaw, how about you?
I think that happened once, yes. I mean, his story, he's been a hitting star when he isn't a pitching star, but just watching those pitches and thinking what would it be like at 12 years old standing in the shadows to try to even see those pitches coming past me. I can't comprehend.
Woody Page?
Yeah, well, I'm watching all the games because Around the Horn's on ESPN 9 or something, the show. So, but I can identify with what he's accomplished. I threw a no-hitter in the league, and we lost 9-2 because I had a lousy defense. But I think what he accomplished with 602 pitches since district and giving up one hit, it's a good thing Ohtani was there at the World Series earlier because he's actually duplicating that with his home run.
I mean,
Yes, the Ohtani comp is better than the Sale comp because he hit a homer to help his team advance. So I've done the math, and it's 2021. I believe the Mariners are going to be competitive in 2027 when he's eligible for the draft, if I've got it all correct. I've got my eye on Gavin Weir. He's the one that's going to deliver us our first World Series win.
Buy or sell to Imani Bates, the number 3 recruit in the top 100, picking Memphis over Michigan State, who he originally committed to, and over Oregon, and over the G League. Tim Kalishaw, bigger deal for Bates or for Memphis or for college basketball that they got the player over the G League?
At this point, I'm just going to say college basketball because we see a lot of kids, and they have the right to go to the G League. They ought to be able to go straight to the NBA. They will again one day, but I just like seeing a school that's not Duke or Kentucky, no offense to them, somebody getting top recruits to kind of, level the playing field just a bit.
Woody Page?
Well, I am to Memphis as L is to Denver. In 1957, when I was a kid, under the cover, I would listen to Memphis State basketball in the NIT, and I still love that team. And Penny Hardaway, with his assistant coach, Larry Brown, have brought in 7 new players. They won the NIT last year. They could win the NCAA this year with this bunch.
Mina Kimes. Wow, Woody.
I think it's a big deal for college basketball because of what it means that Memphis is able to recruit the way they have. They got Wiseman, of course, he didn't play. And apparently they recruited Bates with Penny saying, hey, you could be Penny and your best bud, Jalen Duren, could be Shaq. As a college coach, how do you compete with Penny Hardaway telling recruits that they can be Penny? I mean, it gives them such an obvious edge, and I think this team is going to be competitive for a while as a result.
Okay, you bring up Wiseman as a recruit. That didn't work out so great for Memphis. El Duncan, how about you?
Well, they are going to be competitive, to Mina's point, because, they're going to have to stay because of sort of the realigning. We're going to end up seeing him stay at Memphis for at least a couple of years instead of being a one and done. I think this is a huge win for college basketball, for name, image, and likeness as well, because while he said it did not factor in his decision, let's be honest, the ability to now go to college and for the next 2 years earn an income as opposed to going to the G League and doing it that way, score one for those, despite the fact NCAA doesn't want it, it's going to be good for them in the long run. He's going to make them a lot of money.
That's our horn. Looks like a Page Kalishaw showdown. Mina, just remind us what you said about Woody's shirt the last time you wore a Loud shirt, and now what he's wearing today. Go ahead.
I said it looked like he got it at Dan Flash's, but that was nothing compared to today.
And then Woody was like, Dan Flash's. Yeah, I get it. And you had no idea what we were talking about.
Still don't.
And you still have no idea. Thanks for being here today, Mean L.
Dizzying.
Woody Page, Tim Kalishaw, trying to tuck it in and turn off the lights. Does Tim Kalishaw win 500 against the show's all-time win leader? Next.
because of the pandemic, it did not matter. They hit the ground running last year. Same with Amari Cooper a couple of years ago when he came over mid-season. They hit the ground running as well. So I think in terms of playing it safe, you are still in a very weak division. This is not about week 1. This is about week 7, 8, 9, and 10, when really it's probably only going to take 6 or 7 wins to be, in this thing, in this division. So why do anything?
6 or 7 wins is what you're setting the line on for the NFC East, and we added a game this season. So that would be 6 and 11.
I mean, what? So you feel good about Jalen Hurts?
So you
Ryan
play it
Fitzpatrick?
safe. Now to Woody Page, who, once again, the shirt, not playing anything safe in his life. Go ahead.
I'm of the riding the bike philosophy. It's not as if he forgot how to play quarterback since last season. The guy's a veteran. Do you really want to throw him out there? No pun intended, throw him out there and have him pass 5 or 6 times, hand off 4 or 5 times, maybe get hit once. People talk about, well, you're going to want to get hit on that injury so that you can see that you get over it mentally. Well, I don't want him to be hit on the ankle. Forget about the shoulder. Shoulder's back. It's the ankle that they need to rest as long as they can. And Mina, as you well know, that the joint practices mean more than the actual exhibitions because they can be controlled by the coaches. They can actually get in all of the action that you want without people hitting the quarterback. So he's done that. I don't think he needs to do anything else.
Mina?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, barely, right? Like I think it is a good point about the joint practices. It's why you've seen these teams keep their starters out of preseason games. But Dak hasn't had that much exposure. Like, the dude just picked up a football. So that's my feeling about it. If he had had more time and more, of a sense of being out there, I would feel better about it.
One more story here. It's baseball. How the Dodgers beat the Padres last night. A.J. Pollock in the 16th 2-run homer. I said this game was last night. Actually ended this morning. This game also had an impossibly odd occurrence in the 15th inning, a balk on purpose. Actually 2, because time was called to the first one, so they did it again. Dodgers didn't want a runner on second stealing signs. But that was moot when Tatis hit a 2-run home run to tie the game in the 15th. And, well, long story short, Woody, this game went 16 innings with the new extra inning rules. It's amazing. What's your takeaway from a game as crazy as this?
Maybe they need to just totally revamp that extra inning California rule.
I don't think we
that
need to.
If you go to the 11th inning, you put a runner at third base. But my takeaway last night was how well did Dave Roberts, he didn't fall asleep, even though he said he was very tired at the end. Yeah. I mean, those 8 intentional walks, they were doing because the Padres had pitchers in the batting lineup for a change, relief pitchers who never bat, and so he would walk the hitters to actually get to the pitchers every inning. I think that was a brilliant move, and as you said, he even had balks happening so that he could move people over and not have to worry about stealing signs.
A game as crazy as that.
I love the managerial strategy.
Can you learn anything from it?
Yeah, you absolutely can. First of all, that game is it's like one of those Russian nesting dolls. Like every time you reveal one oddity, there's like 30 more oddities to come, right? I mean, it's not. There was a no-hitter in the middle of the game, a 9-game no-hitter in the middle of the game. Anyway, it was huge for the Dodgers because coming into that game, they had only won one of their previous 13 extra inning games, so they needed that because they were approaching the same type of futility we've only seen from the 1969 Expos, who lost 110 games. So they needed that as they get into this final stretch just to tell themselves that they could win in that situation. I think they did a great job, and Dave Roberts should get a lot of credit for how he played it.
Tim Kalishaw?
I will keep it very simple. The Dodgers are the defending champs. They have a $260 million payroll, and they did not have confidence in the 15th inning they could get a signal from the catcher to the pitcher without it getting stolen. So they had to intentionally balk. That is mind-boggling.
And Mina Kimes.
I'll just hit the other side. Al's right. This is huge for the Dodgers. Brutal for the Padres. Just like this, we thought this was going to be a clash of the Titans 2 months ago when the Padres were a sure thing to make it to the playoffs. Now their chances are down to about 27%.
15-game losing streak. They came back from 6-2 down to Shohei Ohtani and beat the Angels bullpen and saved themselves from breaking the record held by themselves 33 years ago, the 0-21 team. And they celebrated. Woody Page? Is snapping your 19-game losing streak something to celebrate?
Absolutely. If you're the players, they're not tanking. The front office and the ownership might be. Not only should they have celebrated last night, but they should have a one-block parade later today to celebrate it again.
If you've ever been in a baseball clubhouse where they've lost 7 or 8 in a row, it's the most miserable place in sports. To lose 19 in a row, heading for their 3rd straight 100-loss season, and then it's not their fault, it's management's fault. Celebrate.
What would you
Enjoy
call,
that moment.
Tim, a clubhouse where they've lost 9 shows in a row and they're on the precipice of a milestone win, say 500?
Hungry. A hungry place to be.
Split the point to make this interesting. Showdown 2, MLS All-Stars versus Liga MX. It went to kicks, and it's capped off Matt Turner's incredible couple of months. The Stones there in the penalty kicks. He was the MVP of the All-Star game. He won the Gold Cup. It was the GK of the tournament. The Revolution are in first in MLS. He hasn't lost in 13 games. He had a great first pitch at Fenway. Today he got the call up to the U.S. men's national team for World Cup qualifiers. Tim, what's the best part of Matt Turner's run?
Tony, this is so easy. Look at that All-Star game finish. One save goes this way, he gets it with his hands. One save goes that way, he gets it with his feet. What do you want from him? He's doing it all for the All-Stars.
He is the goalkeeper of the future for the U.S. World Cup team. This guy, Matt Turner, is the future and the face of soccer.
The future is now. Tim Kalisha, do you believe in miracles? Yes, 500 career wins.
What a long, strange trip to 500 it has been. Thank you for that deserved applause. I want to thank all my fellow panelists, including Woodrow Page, the only one I'm chasing and will still be chasing for some time. I want to thank, of course, Anthony Reale, Aaron Solomon, Josh Bard, the great Eric Rydholm for creating all these shows. And